Welcome to the Wandering Creatives podcast. I'm your host, Allie, and joining me today is Justin Keishing of Arts by Justin. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you have a really remarkable story that I cannot wait for you to share today. And to start with, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
Yeah, my name is Justin Keishing, and I'm from Manipur, India, which I grew up in a very small village in Manipur. And growing up, it was hard. My dad passed away when I was 4, and I have 5 siblings, and my mom has to raise without having any income. And she has to send us to schools and provide the meals. So it was, it's kind of amazing that how she managed, but I'm grateful for my mom. And, long story short, she passed away in 2014 from the breast cancer. Mm. So she always had that, like a tumor that she knows that it's growing, but she kept hiding because we have no money, we have no saving, no income. And so she knows that if she go to the hospital, the doctor would tell her that you have to do surgery. So surgery is a huge, in the most of the family in that area wouldn't able to afford it. And so because of that, she kept hiding for so many years. But in 2014, when she, couldn't able to hide it, it was too late. And so we couldn't able to save her, and she passed away. But I'm grateful for my mom because she was a great prayer warrior and she was a believer. And because of her prayer today, I'm here.
So sorry to hear of her passing, but glad that you're here today to kind of tell her story and right. Yours.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
And so you grew up in Manipur, India, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
Manipur, that's right.
Okay. And you went to school, and then can you tell us a little bit about how you're located in Morrisville, North Carolina now. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got to kind of where you are today? How have you found yourself in North Carolina?
Yeah, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. And so I was working in a call center in Mumbai, close to the Mumbai. Have you heard about Mumbai? So it's in Pune, which is close to Mumbai. And so I was working in a call center, and I met Kevin White in Pune. And that's where he is the founder and executive director of a Global Hope India, which is a nonprofit organization. And they take a team to India, mission trips and clinics and stuff. And so I met him at the church in Pune, and I don't know that I was working in a call center, and I was taking care of the flights and booking the flights, KLM flights and stuff. So they've been looking for a manager who can able to, book the trains and the taxis and the flights and stuff. And so at the church, they found me.
Oh, wow.
They found me at the church, and it was a miracle. I don't know that. I don't expect that at all. And so it was, I feel that it's God's plan. Mm-hmm. So he met me, and then since then I started working for Global Hope India. That's a nonprofit, and so that's how I got it here.
Oh, that's amazing! I had no idea that's how Kevin and you met. Yeah. Wow, that's really, like you said, it kind of everything aligned perfectly for you to meet each other. To kind of talk a little bit about your artwork, which is absolutely amazing. I was looking at it the other day, and you do a lot of abstract artwork, but then you have some that are just like bursts of color.
Right.
And I absolutely love those. Like, there's something about having kind of a neutral, like, foreground, I guess, with the color coming. I mean, it's just, your eye is immediately drawn to them, and your artwork is just amazing.
Thank you so much.
I also like that you don't necessarily stick to like a certain style of your artwork. You kind of dabble in like a little bit of everything, and it seems like you like to experiment and have a lot of variety to your work. You do like acrylic painting with resin, which I love. Wood art, resin epoxy pieces. Yeah, like you said, a little bit of everything. Were you always kind of creative and artistic, or was it something that you kind of discovered as you got older?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'll be honest, I didn't know that I can paint or I can draw. I never tried even in my school. I have no idea, but it's a gift from God. And I had this gift and never used it before, but when the 2020 COVID-19 hit, that's how I started I started using my talent. And then whenever I started the first painting, I finish it and I look at it, it just, yes, I can paint it. Like, that's how I started all this painting. And I have no idea that I have this, gift.
So you just started doing art. That's amazing.
Right.
Oh, that's got to feel like so, I don't know how to describe it, but to like be able to sit down and discover that you have this amazing kind of natural talent for art it's gotta, I don't know, you have to feel kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
right. I couldn't even believe myself. I didn't believe myself that it's happening.
Oh, that's so great. Did you start with like acrylic painting? Did you just sit down and like pick up a paintbrush one day and you were like, we'll give it a try?
When I started with acrylic painting the first time, but before I started painting, I watched a YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube. YouTube, it's so I'm so grateful for it. It's kind of like I follow because at the beginning of you don't know how to use the acrylic, you don't know how to use the paint, and so I have to watch a YouTube, and so every single step I have to follow from the video, and I feel like YouTube is my art teacher, is my coach. So I spend that time and like a lot of time in YouTube when I started the painting.
Yeah, YouTube is a great kind of like free education.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's so amazing though to be able to like, I don't know, I'm amazed by anyone who can sit down and like watch something and then be able to like just create. I'm so impressed by that. Have you used YouTube for kind of most of your guidance, especially with like resin, which can be like right. Really tricky to work with?
Yes, it's most of my time. I started the day I started painting. The YouTube is the one that who guide me everything. So I'm so grateful for the people who put out there all the guidance and the how to use the acrylic, how to use the resin, every single step that I follow from YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, even the people don't even believe me that I started painting last year. It's even
Well, it's because your art is, it's fantastic. But when you said that, I didn't realize that you started just a year ago. That blows my mind because when I look at your art, it looks like it's, very refined and it's someone who has been doing it for quite a while. So even with your resin work, like you do kind of like a mix of like poured resin with
ocean waves and
right. Like I just started kind of playing around with resin. I'm still learning it. I just tried adding color to my resin, which
one of the cool thing at the resin was the ocean, especially the ocean. When like many years ago, my first family holiday with my sibling, it was at the ocean. So that was the first family holiday, and that's how inspired me to, do all the oceans and the waves, and so. And then because I grew up in the mountain, and I never see any oceans. I saw in the movies and stuff, but never been there, And so when I was there first time, it's like so calm, and the waves, and it's just like forget everything, whatever is going on in my life, it's just so relaxing. And that's how, I started loving the resin art.
Yeah. Oh, I can definitely identify with that. I had a similar experience with my first time seeing the ocean as well, and just the sound and even like the smell of being there. And so, I can definitely relate to that. And I think it shows in your artwork too, kind of your appreciation for that beauty and serenity of the ocean. Do you have a favorite type of art that you do?
The favorite, so it's interesting. I started with acrylic paint and I loved it. And I wanted to try the new, the resin art, the wood and stuff. And I never used the woodwork and, cutting, never done it before, but I started doing that. I loved it. It's so fun. And the same thing, the feather. So I have a feather wings, like I call it an angel wings, or like a stick on the canvas, and they use some, the glasses and stuff. It's so fun. It takes time, but it's so fun to work. And even the string art, it's take a lot of time. But once you finish it, oh my gosh, yes, I love it. So I don't have any favorite like medium. I love them all.
Good answer. Yeah, and you mentioned the angel wings, and you do this really interesting kind of mix of like canvas and woodwork and acrylic, and I don't know, it's really beautiful. Where do you get your inspiration from? Like you kind of mentioned the ocean and how that was kind of a really kind of important moment in your life. Do you draw a lot of inspiration from kind of like your culture and your upbringing?
Yeah, so the inspiration, I would say it's from God. Like I wake up early morning and I run. Like every single day I run in the morning, and I walked out and I see the mountains, the trees and the birds and different colors, and the animals, all the different types of colors, just like blow me away, like how God created this world beautifully, wonderfully made, and I want to use that to inspire the other people, and I wanted to follow that. And and also one of the inspiration is the colorful. Why I love colorful. I grew up in a mountain, like the village. The village love bright red color. So we have like outfit, which is a shawl and something that's very bright red color. And also my mom loves flowers. She loves the house is surrounded by the flowers, all different type of flowers. She loved to collect the flowers. And so it just wanted to honor my mom. And then, the whatever I'm painting and any kind of art, I wanted to use that to inspire other people as well and tell the story.
Yeah, kind of bringing nature and your mom's love of color and nature into your artwork. That's beautiful.
Right.
Have you, you just started doing art in 2020 during COVID, which was a challenging time for everyone anyways, but what are some of the challenges that you kind of faced as an artist? Like, have you ever gotten like painter's block, I guess, or anything like that?
Actually, yeah, there are a lot of challenges as an artist, but one of the main challenges that I have is the space. So right now I paint in the garage. Garage is my art studio. So it's, and I love multiples, like the old mediums, and I love to work on wood and the resin, and you mess up a lot. You cannot get it clean. And so I need a big space for that. Sometimes I use my roommates, they fun of me that I will live in a townhome, but the big townhome, and my art piece will be everywhere in living room and the kitchen and something. So they make fun of it, but I would love to have a big like a warehouse, like I can freely paint. So that's one of the challenges that I have.
Yeah, nice studio space.
Right.
Do you ever find that you have like too much inspiration? Like, do you sometimes feel overwhelmed, like you want to create too many pieces? And how do you deal with that? How do you focus down into like just doing one thing?
Right. It's very interesting. Yes, very interesting. Sometimes, like even while I'm sleeping, I can know that I'll know that like tomorrow what I will be painting. So my mind start working. Sometimes it's how to fall asleep very quickly because my mind is still working, and because I want to do that, but I try to do my best that once I started acrylic paint, I want to finish that project. And then the next step is going to be resin. So whenever I finish the project, the acrylic, I have to put everything aside, to put it aside, and then so the next I can follow, I can work on resin or some other.
Do you keep like this is kind of a random question, but I'm just kind of curious. Do you keep like I keep a notebook next to my bed. So I'm like, if I get an idea, I can like jot it down and like make some notes and stuff. Do you have do you have notes, or how do you keep track of the things that you want to do?
Actually, I don't have a notes. I don't put any notes. If I need the material that I need to order, that definitely. I put a note on that, but I don't have any like the draw and stuff. Just like I just wanted to start that idea, whatever in my mind, I just start doing it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I have to like make notes. Otherwise it leaves me. I forget. What has been one of the most amazing things that you've experienced since you've started doing art?
Yeah, I love this question. As an artist, it's one of the favor and the good things about artists is some people see my painting, some people see my painting, my art, and they see it and they just approach me and say that, wow, this piece is so powerful. It's so connecting. It's like I can relate to my story, this painting, and that the way that how they approach me, it's just like mind blowing, and I loved it. And at my last show, at the last weekend show in Bluegrass Festival, a few people come, to talk about some of my painting, and they wanted to know the story behind it. And they started, we started sharing our story, personal story, each other, and what we're going through. And that's how I love the people to share my story to others. And then I love to hear the story. And one of the women, she saw my angel wings, which is black and white. And she said that my son passed away a few days ago, and he will love this piece of art. He will love this angel. It's so him. It's the painting. It's so connected to him, and it's reminding my son. And just like I felt so emotional, like after I heard that thing, But I'm grateful that the people can connect and tell the story through my painting. So that's one of the beauty of the artist. It's that's why I love what I'm doing. I'm grateful for it.
Being able to connect with others through art and hearing their stories. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast.
This episode of the Wandering Creatives podcast is sponsored by Coots Creations, branding and marketing for creatives by creatives. Coots Creations serves small businesses, entrepreneurs, and creatives throughout the country with branding, marketing, and social media management. We accomplish this by creating unique graphics, a cohesive visual brand, and content that tells your brand's story and builds trust with your customers. Visit cootscreations.com and book your free consultation today.
Do you have any words of advice that you would want to give to kind of other artists out there, especially like newer artists that might just be kind of playing with the idea of doing art?
I would say let God guide you. Let God use you and use your talent, use your gift. And don't be afraid to try new things. Keep trying new things. And because we are sometimes a big canvas, we spend so much money on it, and big canvas, you wanted to paint it, but you're afraid to mess it up if it didn't turn out. You're afraid. And then sometimes when you started painting, when you started working something, that in the middle of it, you messed up, and then you feel like, oh my gosh, I spent so much time. And then, we just wanted to quit and like trash it away. And in the beginning, I used to do that when I started painting, but I learned from it. I learned from that, like, don't ever give up, keep trying new things. Don't be afraid of it.
I was trying to bring up your website because you have a quote on there. So on your website, you have a quote that says, "I'm living proof no one should ever stop chasing their dreams." And I think that's really kind of an important thing to remind people, especially artists. Because like you were saying, like you might be afraid to try new things and mess up the canvas. But if you don't ever try it, then how are you gonna know?
Right. So one of the painting that we were talking about, the colorful and that how the color explode. So I call it as a Chase Your Dream series. So I call it Chase Your Dream. And the color, when I was younger, one of my teacher asked me what I want to be when you grow up. And all my classmates were saying that I want to be a doctor and engineer and all that. But I was telling them that I want to be a traveler. And I don't know how I want to be a traveler, but I always want to be a traveler. But all I have was a dream. And I grew up in a poor family, and I didn't know that where the money come from and how will I travel. But all I have was a dream. And now I've been able to travel so many other countries. And now I'm here in America, and it's like I'm living in a dream. And that's a proof that I can tell the people, I can tell that, growing up in a small family, in a small town, village, and now here I am in America, and just, it's just like I am living in a dream. So that's how I wanted to tell the story through the painting, that all the colors.
You can like see that and feel that in the art. Like there's one piece that really stood out to me, which was I think it was the astronaut on like walking a tightrope, I think, right, with the color exploding behind. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And such great kind of words and advice to live by is to like you were saying, not give up on your dreams. And you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You're doing amazing artwork, and like
thank you.
Have found yourself in North Carolina and have an amazing story. So it's just don't give up on your dreams.
Right.
And so something else that I really like about what you do with your artwork is you focus on doing art with a purpose, which again, I think shows in like every piece that you do that you're trying to do something more, if that makes sense. And one of the things I find so inspiring about your art is that you are donating a portion of the proceeds that come from your artwork to empowering children back in India through education. Can you share a little bit more about kind of that work that you're doing?
Yes. So I have so many other stories I can share, but I just share one family in the village that where I grew up. The family, they have nothing. They're so poor, but two kids, they are deaf. And so in the village, there's no deaf family. That's the only family they're deaf. And the villagers started talking about them like it's curse in the family, and because of the parents and all that thing, they're not supportive, they're not encouraging them. But, and on the top of that, the mom had the bone cancer. And so it's just so much going on in that family. And my sister told me that story, this is happening. And that time when she was telling me the story on the phone, I was somewhere and then I was at the deaf school. I was at the deaf school with my team, the Global Hope India team, and we were serving that. And as soon as I was in that, heard the story, I know that I can do something with that family. And so that's how I started supporting their two. One was, it was in 2018 started, and one was 3 years old and another one was 5. They were so young. But in 1 year, they came to the school, and then after they came back, they know sign language. They started teaching to the parents the sign language because in the village, nobody knows sign language, and even the parents. And so they consider their kids as like an animal. They cannot hang out with anybody. And the mom was, every time whenever she see the other kids, she cried. And, she didn't want to go out, and how do people talk? And so I wanted to encouraging them, and not only that family, because I grew up in a small, like the poor family, and I know that how hard it is to we want to go to the school, but how hard it was, and so many the children that were out there in the back home, like not only in my area but in entire India, so many people and children and women, they want to go to school, but they cannot not afford it. And so whatever I've earned, I wanted to try my best to help them to change their lives.
An amazing cause to give back and to continue to kind of support where you came from too, and families that are kind of in the same situation that you experienced growing up as well. That's amazing. Is there anything that you would like to share with our listeners? Like, do you have any upcoming shows or anything going on that you'd like to share?
Yes. So recently, I'm working on a custom order from the last show. There are maybe 5 or 6 people. They love my art and said they want me to do some painting and string art and even the resin art. So there are 3 types of mediums. So I'm working on that. And one thing is I'm trying to try to be in as much as possible. I try to go to showcase my art, to, not only in Raleigh but even outside of Raleigh. And some of the friends, they asked me to go to the mountains, and there are a lot of big festivals out there, and they will love your art. And so it's like, when you put out you will find a lot of customers even online, but that's a different thing. You have to go out and by yourself and then just showcase your art, and you will have a lot of connection. That's how I'm new in this, in this field, but so far I've been doing so good, and there have been connections that I have now. And if you go to the other art show, like I do like Raleigh night market and every month, and then every month there's new people, new artists, and I have to meet them, and it's just like, I love it. And so I'm researching on those kind of on a website or Google, and I'm trying to do some more art.
Do all the markets. Yes, I love the maker community and the art community, especially in this area, like the Raleigh night market and the Apex night market. Like those are, I find myself sometimes going just to chat with other artists.
Yeah.
I'm like, I may not sell anything, but at least I get to like hang out and talk with like other makers.
Yeah.
It's a great way to meet folks. I mean, it's how I connected with Kevin and how we're doing the podcast now. So it works out.
Right.
So if people want to check out your artwork and learn more about you, where can they find you online?
Yes, they can find me artsbyjustin.com website. That's my website. And they can connect with me on Instagram and Facebook, Arts by Justin. And I have an Etsy account, so they can even check it out.
Etsy too. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words of wisdom or advice?
I would say don't give up. Keep pushing, keep trying. And why I want to say that, why I want to use all the time about chase your dream or don't give up is, so whenever when I want to come to America, I have to apply the visa for, so I had applied 3 times, and they kept denying my visa. on the third time, that officer says that, I'm sorry to say that you will never see United States in your entire life. And so, that was on the third time on the visa. Every time I apply, I have to spend money at the travel and all that things. But it was, I thought I want to quit. I want to give up. And Kevin White pushed me to try another one. So the next month I tried on the fourth time when I applied the fourth time, it was a miracle. It was just like right in front of me. Just quickly, I got it for 10 years visa. And then I know that that person told me that I would never see the United States. And today I'm here doing an art show and sharing my story. It's just like, yes, that's why I learned that, don't give up.
Truly, like I said, your story is truly inspiring and your artwork is just absolutely amazing. So I'm so thankful and glad that you could join me on the podcast today and kind of share a little bit about your story and your journey. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I was kind of nervous and I was excited.
You did fine.
But yes, I'm glad that I could be able to share my story, and I love it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And listeners, you can follow Justin on Instagram and across social media. On Instagram, I believe it's at arts_by_Justin. And you can see more of his work on his website, artsbyjustin.com. And I will, of course, include the links to all of his information in the episode description below. So I would definitely recommend everyone go and check out his work because it is, again, just absolutely amazing. And if you can make it to one of the markets, check it out in person. And with that, again, I want to thank you, Justin, so much for being on the show. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you. Thank you.
And listeners, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to rate, and review the podcast. If you have questions, comments, thoughts for me or for any of my guests, you can text or call us on our hotline, 252-419-6004, and we will answer your questions on a future episode of the podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram at wandering_creative_ and check out our website, cootscreations.com.
This has been a Coots Creations production. Follow the show on Instagram at wandering_creative_ and on Twitter at wandering_pod. For more information, go to cootscreations.com. Like, rate, review, and subscribe. To sponsor the Wandering Creatives podcast, visit www.cootscreations.com/podcast-sponsorship-opportunities. You can also click the link in the episode description below. To be a guest or a featured maker on the podcast, click the link in our Instagram bio or contact us at cootscreationsllc@gmail.com.